All right, let's dive in. If you live with migraine, you already know it's so much more than just dealing with the pain, right? It's really about figuring out what sets it off in the first place. So today, we're going to walk through how you can actually take control of some of the most common migraine triggers, all based on expert advice. Okay, so first things first, it's super important to get what's happening on a basic level. Migraine isn't just a really bad headache. It's a neurological disease. And the key word here is hyperresponsive. It basically means your nervous system is on high alert, you know? It's extra sensitive to everything around you. And that's why stuff that doesn't even faze other people can be a huge, huge problem for you. Now, I know the list of possible triggers can feel, well, endless. It's like everything from the weather to what you ate for lunch can play a part. So to keep it manageable, we're going to zero in on the three most common ones. And more importantly, the three you can actually do something about every single day. And here they are, the big three: light, noise, and stress. So what we're going to do is break down each one. We'll look at why it can trigger an attack, and of course, what you can actually do to dial down its impact on your life. Let's kick things off with light. This might just be the most common trigger out there, and it's definitely one of the hardest to avoid. I mean, it's everywhere, from the sun up in the sky to the phone right in your hand. So how on earth do you manage it? Well, part of the problem is that it's not just one kind of light. You've got the obvious one, bright sunlight, but then there's all the artificial stuff we're surrounded by, like those flickering fluorescent lights in the office, the intense brightness and glare coming off our screens, and even certain types of light, like blue light. Okay, so what can we actually do about all that, especially when it comes to our screens? Here are four really practical things. Number one, the easiest one, just lower your screen's brightness. Two, if you're dealing with a ton of glare bouncing off the screen, a simple glare guard can be a game changer. Three, dig into your settings. A lot of devices let you change the color temperature, and switching to something less harsh, like green, can really help. And finally, you might want to look into migraine classes. They're specially designed to filter out the most problematic kinds of light. And this brings us to a huge issue in a lot of offices and homes: fluorescent bulbs. A lot of them have this flicker that's so fast you can't see it, but trust me, your hyper-responsive nervous system can definitely pick up on it. The best solution? Switch to good old incandescent bulbs if you can, or even better, rearrange your space a bit to make the most of that steady, natural light from a window. All right, let's move on to our second trigger: noise. You know, it's a lot like the light situation. That same hyper-responsive nervous system can get totally overwhelmed by sounds that other people might not even notice. It can turn a kinda loud environment into a serious trigger. The good news here is that you've got a ton of options. For your own personal bubble, noise-canceling headphones are absolutely fantastic. And hey, simple foam earplugs are a great cheap option to keep on hand. If you're trying to manage a whole environment like an office, you could look at sound-absorbing partitions. And for your home or office, you can even put up foam panels on the walls, kind of like in a recording studio, to help soak up all that extra noise. And that leads us to number three, and it's a big one: stress. Now, this one's tricky, right? Because let's be real, none of us can just get rid of stress completely. But the goal isn't elimination. It's all about management. It's about learning how to relieve it, and, just as important, how to avoid it in the first place. So when you're in that moment and you're feeling the stress build up, what can you do? Well, there's some amazing apps that can walk you through relaxation and breathing exercises. Or, with some professional guidance, you could explore something like biofeedback. And honestly, one of the best tools we have is plain old exercise. Of course, check with your doctor, but getting in some moderate exercise 3 to 4 times a week can make a world of difference. Okay, dealing with stress when it happens is great, but here's the real question: what if we could get ahead of it? This is where we make a huge mental shift, from just reacting to being proactive. How do you stop that unnecessary stress before it even gets a foothold? And the answer, really, comes down to a powerful shift in how you think. You have to start treating stress not just as something that happens to you, but as a real, tangible factor that you can plan for, just like any other appointment in your calendar. So what does that actually look like day to day? Well, 1, you plan your schedule with a bit more care. 2, you really learn your own limits and try not to overcommit. You know, it's actually okay to say no sometimes. And 3, you start to identify and avoid, when you can, those situations that you know are just going to cause a lot of prolonged stress. This is all about protecting your own well-being. So as we start to wrap this up, I want you to reframe all this in your mind. This is not about a restrictive list of things you can't do. It's the total opposite. This is your toolkit. These are strategies that give you the power to manage your own environment and really to take back some control. And this quote from the National Headache Foundation just nails it perfectly. The goal isn't just to survive migraine, it's to live successfully with it. And the way to do that is by actively learning how to identify, mitigate, and avoid your own personal triggers. So if there's one thing you take away from this, let it be this. You are not powerless here. By making these small, deliberate changes to your light, your noise, your stress, you can actively manage your environment. And when you do that, you can make a real, measurable dent in how often you have to deal with attacks. So, I'll leave you with one final thought. Don't feel like you have to go out and change everything all at once. That's overwhelming. Instead, just look at this toolkit and ask yourself this simple question. What's one small thing, one single trigger that you can start managing right now, today?